No sensationalism, no bias, just raw, unadulterated truth. I am committed to delivering news without compromise. Hard facts as we know them, when we know them, and how they affect you. Every Monday through to Friday, 3 to 6 p.m. This will be your most authentic news experience starting now on 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.
6 minutes gone past the 3 o'clock hour. Welcoming you to the nation's #1 talk news and sports radio station, 99.3 Nigeria Info. This is Hard Facts. My name is Maryann Okon. As usual, from now till 6 p.m., this will be the most authentic news experience on the radio. We're starting with the big three today. Looking at the top stories, ones that you were talking about on Twitter, making it a trending story, the ones that are on the pages of our national dailies, and the ones that are making debut in our news bulletins right here on the nation's #1 talk news and sports radio station. We're broadcasting live from our audiovisual studios right here in Itimi and Crescent, Victoria Island, Lagos. We're live on YouTube, Nigeria Info FM. We're also live on Facebook.com/Nigeria Info FM. And if you are listening or joining us from outside of the country, you can be part of the conversation via Skype. We are Nigeria Info FM. Let's get into the big stories for today. One, which is the story of journalists being attacked by some hoodlums here in Lagos on live television, by the way. Might I add, what's that thing that we say in Nigeria? It's becoming very unbecoming that journalists are now a target source. We're not being kidnapped. We're being harassed. If we're not being harassed, we're being arrested. Do you remember the NUJ chairman in Abuja, whose phone was taken by the Abuja State Police Command's commissioner himself? He was asked to be arrested until he found out who the man was. So what is the fate of the average Nigerian if even the guys who run the fourth estate of the realm are a target? Welcome to Hard Facts. Let's go into the big three stories. The man who was on TV while thugs came after him with sticks is joining us via Zoom. Welcome to the show.
Get ready for the most important news of the day. It's time for the big three stories on Hard Facts. Tune in to our primetime show for the latest updates and in-depth analysis on the top stories making headlines. From breaking news to in-depth investigations, we bring you the facts you need to know. Join us as we delve into the biggest stories shaping our world today. Tune in to the Big Three every weekday, 3 to 4 p.m. and stay informed with the news that matters the most. Hard Facts, where the truth always comes first.
Ladies and gentlemen, Bernard Akede, who used to be a staff of AIM at some point in his life. He works with News Central Television. He's joining us live via Zoom. Bernard, it's so good to have you join us. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Maryann. Thank you for having me. It's been a while.
Yeah, I know. At first when I saw that video, I didn't want to believe that, that was... It's not that I don't trust you, but I just wanted to believe that it was staged. I just didn't want to believe that. But unfortunately, as funny as it sounds, it's something that's disturbing and worrisome. At first, when these guys were coming at you, what exactly did you think was going to happen?
I'll be honest with you, there are certain things that happen in life and you don't believe that these things will happen to you. You've seen them on social media, you've seen them on TV, you see skits about these things, but when it happens to you, you'll be like, it's not me. This is not me. It was quite dramatic. I was like, and then I just saw, it was like clockwork. I just saw a group of guys so it's not like they ran from a certain place. It's like they were just sitting down there under the bridge, just waiting for the trigger, and then maybe someone just said, go. And they all just stood up, like clockwork, brandishing different objects. One was holding a large pipe, sticks, another one a huge shovel, like was going to dig in the construction site, and they just approached us directly. So I was talking and I was like, wait, are these people coming for us? It was shock. There was an element of shock. And then the first guy who attacked me whipped me so hard in the behind with the pipe. And that's when I knew.
On live TV. He hit you on live TV. So I'm trying to understand, did they know that you were live and you were reporting? Did it occur to them what they were doing on live television?
I honestly have no idea if they knew that we were live. They clearly knew that I mean, a 10-year-old would tell that these are journalists who are doing something concerning the news because I was there with the earpiece, I had a microphone in my hand, there was a camera operator in front of me, and a digital reporter also taking shots of what was going on. So anybody who lives in the 21st century in 2024 would know that these are journalists doing their work, whether live or recorded. So they knew that we were doing some kind of work. We were not interviewing anybody. I was just talking directly to the camera. So I want to believe that, they should have known. But then if they didn't, then it's on them. They're popular now and famous.
What part of Lagos were you at the moment when this happened?
So this was Ojota area. That was not far from the epicenter of the protest, or rather the place where the court had designated the protesters to stay. However, we had to move some meters away from there towards the Ojota bus stop under the pedestrian bridge, for those who know the region quite well. And that's because the police officers at the time asked us to move away from there because they said that the presence of the press kept attracting more protesters, even though on that day, yesterday, that the leaders of the protest or the conveners of the protest said that, they had suspended the protest. I didn't get that memo, so I was there regularly to do my job. And then at some point, they told us to move away from the area. As a matter of fact, one of the senior police officers...
Bernard, are you still there? Sorry,
yes, I'm here.
We lost you for a second. You were telling us about the senior police officer, yes?
Yes, a senior police officer asked me to come to him while, I don't know, there's something about my live recordings in the past 6 days. By the way, this is like the third of my live broadcasts that have been interrupted in about 6 days. So the senior police officer beckoned on me to come and then explained that our presence there was attracting a crowd and they didn't want that. So he saddled me with the responsibility of speaking with the other journalists, telling them not to interview anybody else. So I just begged, I said, please give me 5 minutes, let me finish my live recording first. So I went back, completed the live recording, told the journalists to stop interviewing, and then other armed police officers came and told us to move further down, several meters down. And that's how we ended up all the way at Ojota bus stop.
I'm trying to understand how police officers were a few meters away from where you were being attacked and nothing was done. One. Secondly, the fact that they told you to move to that point where those people were armed and waiting for whoever it was for them to strike at. It's also interesting how they tell you not to do your job because it will attract more protesters. I did hear the Commissioner of Police in Lagos saying that protests were banned because the president had asked people to no longer protest. And the bigger question is, was the president the convener of the protests? Will he be the one to tell the protesters when to stop or when not to? It's incredible because these things, they don't really add up. How do you tell a journalist to tell other journalists not to, record? Secondly, how do you send them to a place where, maybe let's give them that benefit of that. Maybe they didn't know it was dangerous, but they sent you there and they did nothing about it, because I could see how you guys ran into your boss because you knew that your lives were threatened. Imagine if there were other journalists there. How do we make sense of this? Because it worries me.
Yeah, it really got us confused, on the day because, and here's the truth, yeah. Even though when we moved towards several meters away, maybe even up to close to a kilometer away from the center of where the protest was taking place, but there were some police officers who were behind us who moved with us, about 5 or 6, at least 5 or 6 police officers, ensuring that we were going to walk all the way to that particular location, the bus stop. We got to the bus stop and they were there, ensuring that we didn't do anything that they didn't want us to do. However, when these guys attacked us, I turned my back and there was nobody there anymore. The police officers were not there anymore. Although there's something I'm still trying to bring to light, even though I'm trying to, and I'm trying to be careful with things I say, because to be honest, in all honesty, the Commissioner of Police in Lagos State has actually been quite cordial with journalists all through the protest, to be very candid, right? However, if things go wrong, I will say it. Now, things have been good between the journalists and the police on the protest ground. But on that day, yesterday, there was a police officer who was the one who called me, remember I mentioned, to come and speak to the senior police officer who said, please tell the other journalists to stop interviewing people. Now, I could recognize him there after he had called me to come to speak to that officer. When we were directed to go under the bridge and we were being attacked, I saw the same gentleman seated under the bridge. So even if, you put 2 and 2 together, So even if we look back and the police officers were not there and they say, oh, they were not there when we were attacked, at least there was one of them who I could recognize, I could identify as the plainclothes officer. He wasn't in his uniform. He just sat there like he was one of the people sitting under the bridge and he was just watching us, right? It's your duty to protect journalists, to protect people, regardless of who they are, if they are being attacked. So whether or not you are on duty, you see that kind of thing happening, you can actually step in. And that's my challenge towards that officer, whoever he is or whoever he was. You know, I don't even want to go further to say it seems like he was behind this, because it's too much of a coincidence to see that he was at one place and then he was at another place where we were being attacked, and all he did was just sit down and watch what was going on. You know, so it was funny the way it played out.
Yes, and it begs a lot of questions. Now, I did see Benjamin Hundeyin in your studios this morning. Before I get to that point, because I have very little time, I want to quickly talk about the fact that this is not the first time where people are complaining about police officers. There's a video I played a few days ago, I think on Monday, where a woman in a car in Abuja kept saying, look at the police. The police is standing by and watching these people branding machetes in Abuja. They did nothing. They stood by, but they were very quick to shoot at protesters, live ammunition. They were very quick to tear gas protesters. But the people who came to upset that protest, the police stood by and watched them. And now you're telling me that something similar happened in your case. What did Benjamin Hundeyin have to say about this? Because I really want to hear what his position was.
Well, I'm not remember, did we talk about that particular? I'm not sure we did, but we talked about police using force generally when it comes to dispersing crowds, and he said, well, when if need be, the police would use force. On the program, we didn't talk about this case, but as I yesterday,
why didn't you guys talk about it? Don't you think it's important that we're being targeted?
Yes, well, it is important. Unfortunately, I think the time frame of the show didn't permit us to speak about it. However, we did go to the police command office yesterday evening to report the case officially, and statements were taken. And I did mention this, and it was taken down. We spoke directly to the commissioner himself, who ensured or who said that he would ensure that these people will be apprehended. I mean, their faces were all over the television. Their faces had gone viral.
What about the face of the police officer who directed you to where you were supposed to be positioned? Was his face on camera?
No, the one who directed us was not on camera. Apparently, he was behind us while we were moving, so he wasn't captured.
Lucky guy. Yeah. Lucky guy. But finally, before I let you go, Bernard, where do you think this is all going? Because if journalists are becoming a target of some sort, whether subtly or alarmingly, where does that leave us, and where does that leave the average person who probably is not?
It's a sad tale to tell, to be honest. Journalists being the fourth estate of the realm, we are the ones, the gatekeepers, basically. And if we are being targeted, it means that authentic information will not be spread across the nation. It means that press freedom is still being questioned where we are. And of course, there is no democracy without press freedom, to be honest. So it leaves us in a state where our democracy is going to be shaky. It's going to leave us in a place where journalists will be afraid for their lives, hence they would not be telling stories as they should. It means that there's going to be misinformation, there's going to be fake news at some point, and then we'll be left at the mercy of citizen journalists, social media peddlers, people who would just put information out there, which is a vicious cycle because it's still bringing us back to the place where security operatives don't want us to be. So if you want the true information to come out, let journalists do their job. Journalists are not armed. The only thing we have are our tools, cameras, pens, microphones. And just before I go, I quickly like to mention that there's certain things that people don't even seem to notice. Now, the police PRO today did state that categorically, that journalists don't need to take permission from the police to do their reportage, to do their job.
That's why I asked you the question that why would they be telling you to tell other journalists not to cover? Because I would have stood my ground. I would have said no. I would have rather that they arrested me and taken me to the commissioner of police. I would do that.
So it's something that a lot of people get confused about, and we have to ask them. I said, no, you, as long as you're not constituting nuisance, you can do your job, which unfortunately led to my first issue on the 31st of July, where a police officer came and stopped us midway on the live broadcast. Again, even after taking permission, which were not necessarily didn't have to. But so you see, it's the vicious cycle that definitely has to be addressed. If you prevent journalists from doing their job, it enables fake news to spread, which does affect the security operatives, comes back to the society. It just goes round. So just let the right people do the right thing, and then there will be peace.
Bernard, you wouldn't have said it in any way that's better than what you have said it or how you've said it. If the journalists are not doing their jobs, then we're going to just have a banana republic, unfortunately. But Bernard, I'm glad that you're safe. I hope your bum doesn't hurt from that hard heat. I can see that you're sitting well. But thank you very much. I love the work that you're doing. Keep up the work. No one can stop journalism, whether we like it or not. It's still going to thrive one way or another. But I appreciate you for coming on the show. Thank you very much. Bernard Akede, he is a journalist with News Central Television here in Lagos. Thank you, Bernard, for coming on the show.
Thank you, Maryann. I appreciate it.
All right. Well, Lagos, let's go into the big stories for today. And I'd like to hear your thoughts on what Bernard has said. And I'm going to bring you the video of Bernard being hit in the bum on live television. Stay with us.
Millions of listeners trust us on Hard Fact. Whether it's politics, social issues, controversies, and trending stories, we're credible and objective.
It's Hard Facts with Maryann Okon on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
All right, quickly, before we go on the first break on the show, this is Hard Facts, 99.3 Nigeria Info. We're broadcasting live from our audiovisual studios right here in Ndume and Crescent, Victoria Island, Lagos. My name is Maryann Okon. Welcome to the show. We just spoke with News Central TV correspondent who was being harassed by thugs in Lagos or Jota area on live television, like you heard him say. A lot of things happened in that short time. And it begs a lot of questions, and I know you do have questions. But let me run through the big stories for today, shall we? First story coming in here from Daily Trust newspaper. Betta Idu's return unlikely as Tinubu makes key changes in Humanitarian Affairs Ministry. I did hear this earlier on, that there was an unbundling that was going on here. Well, we know that even though she had been suspended after... when that story broke about monies that were misappropriated, I beg your pardon, Betta Idu may not return to her former position. Since President Bola Ahmed Tinubu suspended her in January over alleged corruption, there have been reports that she could be reinstated. The president had asked the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission if she could ministry under the ministry under Idu's watch. Well, we also hear that there was a suspension of so many people, and now newer people have been appointed into the Humanitarian Ministry, and it's being unbundled. What are your thoughts? Now, when we come back, we'll talk about, of course, the APC summoning Ndume and, of course, reinstating him. But then Ndume said something. He said he stands on what he said, even though he apologizes on how he went about it. But what he said was true. I will play you a clip from Senator Ndume. And, of course, we hear that 6 Spaniards and several other people whom the police claim have been the real sponsors of the protests were arrested. Yes, and this is from the Vanguard newspaper. The police is saying they've arrested these people. What exactly does the police mean by the real sponsors of the protest? Stay with us, Lagos. We'll be right back after these messages.
99.3 Nigeria Info. We'll be right back.
Get ready for the ultimate showdown of intellect and persuasion. The I Beg to Differ National Debate Tournament kicks off on the 12th of August 2024, and it is going to be epic. Witness a thrill of high-stake arguments, insightful rhetoric, and unbeatable wit. The sharpest minds from Lagos, Abuja, and Port Harcourt will clash for the prestigious title of National Debate Champion. Who will rise to the top and claim the ultimate crown? Well, tune in to 99.3 Nigeria Info Lagos, 95.1 Nigeria Info Abuja, and 92.3 Nigeria Info Port Harcourt, Monday through Thursday, 4 o'clock, and experience the power of persuasive debate like never before. I Beg to Differ, the Tournament of Champions.
All
99.3 Nigeria Info, your number one station for talk. Let's talk.
Millions of listeners trust us on Hard Fact. Whether it's politics, social issues, controversies, and trending stories. You know we're credible and objective.
It's Hard Facts with Maryann Okon on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
Yes, it's still Hard Facts. The phone lines are open. 0201-277-0993. That's the number for the men. That's 0201-277-0993. You could join the conversation if you're a lady on 0201-465-7190. That's 0201-465-7190. On WhatsApp, it's 080959758505. You could join the conversation on X. Use the hashtag Hard Facts. On Twitter, that's Nigeria Info. On Facebook Live, we are there. You can post your comments. On YouTube, we're also live. Go post your comments. I'd love to read from you. We just interviewed Bernard Akede, who's a reporter with News Central Television, who was harassed by thugs on live television. And he was told to move to that point where he was being harassed by thugs, by police officers, telling him to tell other journalists not to record at the point where protesters were gathered, and police officers were also there. There are too many questions that need answers. But for those of you who are wondering what we're talking about, here's a video of Bernard being harassed on live television. Take a look. Bernard being harassed. Yeah, were you watching? I'll play it again. Is this the Nigeria that we want? Is this the kind of country that we want to live in? Is this what our country has turned into, where thugs have the power to do whatever it is to the media? And according to him, there was a policeman who just sat there and watched. Remember the video I played to the guys on Monday, if I'm not mistaken, on the Big Hard Fact, on the Big Three. And that video came from Abuja, where a lady was telling us while she was driving through the streets of Abuja during a protest, where Big Boss came with thugs, all branding machetes, police officers standing by them and doing nothing. Meanwhile, the same police is telling us that they told us before the protest started that there will be people who would hijack. There might be people who would hijack the protest, but these people came with machetes and they stood by and did nothing. I'm really wondering if the police is telling us one thing and we're seeing a totally different thing happening on camera, maybe they have more explaining to do to us. I'd rather have Mr. Ndume come to the studio and explain to us exactly what's happening. The phone lines are open. But here's Senator Ndume. He's been talking, apologizing actually, to the APC. He had a meeting, a closed-door meeting with Ganduje and the rest of them. But then he still stood his ground, saying what he said was true. Take a listen.
Yesterday, I was invited by the party, and here I am to discuss some family matters. Actually, the national chairman is not only a chairman to me, but a senior of a father, mother too. So with what has happened, which you are all aware, it is not surprising that I was invited to hear my own side. And we had family discussions. And actually, I've accepted the mistake of not talking to the party as the last point. And I promised the party that all my observations as a senior member of the family should have terminated or ended with the party. And that is something that moving forward. But whatever I said or whatever I did was out of patriotism. And those issues may be said strongly, but they are true. But then I should have talked to the party as the last bus stop.
So those things I said, he said they're true, but maybe he would have said it differently. And he should have gone to the party as the last bus stop. So Ndume is saying, I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. I'm going to the phone line. 60 seconds is all you have. Go straight to the point. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Maryann. This is Obi calling from Ikeja.
Hi, Obi. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, Maryann, I don't know why you're surprised. I'm not surprised because what has emboldened most of these touts, or what you call them, because there's no punishment for bad behavior as far as I'm concerned. Look at what happened during the elections. Look at what Bayononoga said, MCO, all of them, no punishment for bad behavior. And people are being emboldened. They continue to do what they want to do because they know that there are no consequences for their evil actions. From Ndume, the milestone he garnered, the political milestone he garnered for what he did, he has just rubbished it now. He has gone back to zero as far as I'm concerned. He cannot eat your vomit. I think that people will respect you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Obi, for calling and keeping to time. I appreciate it. Hello, welcome to Hard Facts.
Good afternoon, Maryann.
Good afternoon. What's your name, sir? Where are you calling from?
This is the affordable Malik.
Malik, you're a rich man. Stop this.
The government has affordable me now. They've given me my own Egunja. I did not protest.
You see?
Let me confess, so. If you chop your own, you go and say you've made peace. So
what did they give you?
1.5. I'm affordable.
You're not serious. Go ahead, please.
Maryann, look, in this same country we call Nigeria that we love, the government officials and the citizens are the problem of the country. Look at now, the same government announced that they want to hijack protests. The same officials, people that are meant to enforce the law, were there when those thugs came with machetes, with everything. They could not arrest one and want to fight insurgency in Nigeria. You can see when we say government is involved in our problem or the government officials are part of the problem, those who are not abusing government officials. How can you harass a journalist on TV? You even slap someone that were interviewing on TV. The talk were there and the police people were there and nothing happened. Then tomorrow you say the younger ones should respect the law? When I say the older men have taught the young ones how to commit crime in this country, they think I'm making mouth or I'm saying lies. What are they showing the younger ones are coming up? Don't do the right thing. You can scot free. Those talks tomorrow will still go and rob and do crime, and you want them to crime to stop.
All right, Malik. Thank you very much for calling.
Hello.
All right. Thank you very much for calling. Because of time, I have to go to other people. Hello. Welcome to Hard Facts.
Yeah, Maryann. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. What's your name, sir? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, it's Mr. Mba from Large Market.
Go ahead, Mr. Mba.
Yeah, Maryann. I just want to talk about the victimization about the journalists. You know, in Nigeria, when something happens, a man or the region, or should I call a side, maybe Atajegule or maybe Munshi, people in VI doesn't give a listening ear. You understand? Then something should happen in Alaba. The people over Ikorodu will keep concerned. There is something concerning them. Imagine what happened to the journalists concerning this protest. Now, journalists have begin to talk. But we are in this country. People are being massacred in southern Benue, Kaduna, and some part of this country. When journalists want to analyze, they look like it doesn't concern them. That is the problem I notice we have in the country.
All right. Thank you very much for calling. Thank you very much for calling. Your 60 seconds is over. Thank you very much. Hello, welcome to Hard Facts.
Hi, Maryann.
Yes, Dede.
How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you.
Good. Okay, you see, I don't know what this our country is turning to. I'm talking in respect of police arresting, protests. They said the sponsors are protesters. I don't know
Well,
where
they say they've caught some Spaniards. That's people who are from Spain, and then other protest sponsors. And I'm really wondering what they mean by protest sponsors, because the last time I checked, it was hunger, starvation, bad governance.
Yeah, exactly. Hunger, starvation, social injustice, and so on and so forth.
Maybe those are names of real people. I'm just thinking.
But I can still tell you, with this set of politicians, I don't know where this country is heading. I'm scared. Let me tell you, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu involved in protests in this country, 1993, 2012. And nobody put them under watch list. Nobody arrested anyone. I don't know where. So don't have freedom of speech. People don't have rights.
All right, I have to let you go, Diddy. Thank you very much for calling. 60 seconds is all everybody has, and we have to run through everybody. Hello, turn off your radio, please now.
Absolutely.
All right, call me back when you're ready. You should know that when you call the radio, you need to turn off your radio. Hello.
Good afternoon,
Maryann. Good afternoon.
Yeah, this is Ladipo.
Pastor Ladipo, go ahead, please. Welcome to the show.
Maryann, what do you expect? You don't understand that the people that used to hijack protests, they are the ones that came to deal with those journalists now. You don't know. They are the ones. They are their boys. So some of them are on their payroll as you see them like that. They won't do them a dime. They won't do them nothing. Secondly, for Ndume, it is typical of our politicians. They are like fish that can't survive outside the water. So he has to eat his own vomit so that he can gain his juicy positions back. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much for calling. Thank you, Pastor Ladipo, for calling. I appreciate it, and you stuck to time. Hello.
Hi, Maryann.
Hi. Good afternoon, Mr. Boli.
Maryann, Ndume has joined the long list of stomach infrastructure politicians, so I'm not surprised.
But he said he's sorry. He said sorry, but I'm not sorry. He stood his ground.
They will all vomit and pack it up because they know they cannot dwell without it. That's just it. Ludocracies, they all have, all of them, they have the same line. Maryann, should I shock you? While Joy's program was going on, Momsi told me she went to Ojota. Momsi saw this guy, this your journalist. She said I should call in and tell them what she saw. So I was supposed to call him, but then Mr. Desmond took over. She saw them brandishing those cutlasses. She was shaking out of her wits. She was just shouting that it was God that saved. Is it Ben? What did you call his name? They slammed the door, Maryann. They were wielding the cutlasses. They were brandishing it on the floor. He said when the man set up, when that journalist set up, that he was about to start reporting, they told him, "Oh yeah, leave this place." He said no, that he was just trying to report the fact that there were no much protesters right there at Ojota. The next they said he should get out of it, I shouldn't report anything. And they pushed him to where the talks are. And the policemen turned a blind eye. Exactly what he reported was what my mom reported this afternoon, Maryann. So no lie for dear. Now let's see. What is your body, journally, what are they doing to stand for you people? What? Is this how they will allow it slide?
Okay.
See, there is more to this than meets the ordinary eye.
All right, Mr. Boli.
To whip you all into line.
Thank you very much for calling.
How are you going to seek a redress?
Thank you for calling. Actually, this happened yesterday, not today. It happened yesterday. Hello, welcome to Hard Facts.
Yeah, okay, one.
Odima, what's your name, sir? Where are you calling from?
This is Mr. Frank.
Mr. Frank, go ahead, please.
Yes. You see, this protest has come, and it will soon go. And the original one will soon come. When the original one will come, then when people will start hearing that there will be no protest and the hoodlums will hijack it, some people will hijack it, and they say it again, is it not well known to the public now and to the whole world that we have all known the hijackers of the protest? From the top one to the last, they have known it. It happens in Sapele, it happens in Port Harcourt, it happens in everywhere. Both the police, the soldiers, the politicians on their own, even with their threats. So they let them not be pointing accusing fingers for people that doesn't know that they are the hijackers of the politician or the protest.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Frank, for calling. I want to go on social media. Let's go to WhatsApp first, quickly, before we go on Facebook Live. This one's from Larry. He says, the story is the same everywhere. Solicitors are now the target. He sends me a message from the UK. Olushoga Jai from Odonla in Ikorodu says, the federal government should arrest hunger, hardship, bad roads, bad governance and insecurity because they're the ones sponsoring the End Bad Governance protest. Tinubu should arrest the people I mentioned. I watched the protest disappear. Or rather, and watch the protest disappear. This one says, okay, madam, I don't know what your message is about. Edward from Adion says, everyone is now feeling uncomfortable heat emitting from the kitchen. Media or journalists, they're not left out. Are journalists now among miscreants and hoodlums too? This one says, freedom of the press is now under attack in Nigeria. The Nigeria police decision to stop a journalist from interviewing angry protesters is a blatant violation of press freedom and the public's right to know. Journalists play a crucial role in holding those in power accountable and amplifying the voices of citizens. Silencing them is a desperate attempt to hide the truth. He goes on to say, we condemn this act and demand an end to the harassment of journalists. Let the voices of the people be heard. Israel from Festec Town sending that message. This one says, what I've noticed about this government is that any leader that comes into power makes policies that guides them till their tenure is over. They're not there for governance. They lack a leadership knowledge. Look at how security apparatuses gathered together yesterday because they're protesting. The protest was coming closer to them and the president. They quickly came together to protect themselves and not the nation because they have been doing, all they've been doing is anti-people. Jonathan in Magboro says the ruling party intentionally wants to gag or blindfold the press from reporting today's events in Nigeria to the outside world. It's a hallmark and spillover of the immediate past APC-led government. In fact, recent developments of harassment, intimidation and bullying of journalists tell it all. And this is most unfortunate. I won't be surprised if the press decides to go on a protest. Jonathan in Magboro. Olawale here says, was the journalist accusing the police on Saturday of not protecting them when the hoodlums attacked them at Ojota? Because I watched it live on News Central. This one says, my office is very close to the police station. Police officers called thugs government and they're afraid of them. Those police will say the people in power now in Abuja. Sometimes you see the thugs shouting at police when they're dragging territory or place of collecting money. Only in Nigeria. This one said your guest and colleague is spot on. Okay, Mr. Bully, you already told us this on the phone. Lovely. This one says, Maryann, good day. You can see the country we're building, where touts can openly be chasing away journalists. Same time during elections. As for police, no arrest will be made. Live bullets were used on peaceful protesters, but touts are allowed to do whatever they like. Ndume is just like every politician. Nothing will change as long as we have these people ruling us. And that's from Aya. 14 minutes on the clock. We're still taking your thoughts and comments on the Big 3 99.3 Nigeria Info. The program is Hard Fact. My name is Maryann Okon. This one says, so worrisome that our leaders are normal before becomes okay, there are leaders that I'm sure you mean were normal before become evil and monsters when they are on leadership position. Forget about what any of you are hearing from this Labour Party aspirant of Edo. Okay, sorry, what does that even mean? Okay, that's from yesterday. Okay, she says Nigeria is not a country. We're now having rights to... Politicians are oppressing the average Nigerian and no law for the politicians except the poor. What a country. 19. I'm sad. So sad. Imagine this government talking about people sponsoring the protest rather than the reason for the protest. And this is now our security agency have all the intelligence in the world but cannot handle Boko Haram. So sad. How did we get here, for God's sakes? You didn't give me a name, but thank you. This one says, good afternoon. To me, already we have found ourselves in a banana republic. It's unfortunate. However, let it be known that this APC government has already shot itself in the foot. This whole scenario, I wish them luck. Boyerson from Afromedia. And this one says, Maryann, what I know is that the military chiefs and the police officers, that are killing our youth are going to face crimes against humanity in the International Crimes Court. Samia Kansin. Well, I must tell you that there was a tweet that was put out by the former presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party and former vice president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Mr. Atiku Abubakar. He did put out a strong worded tweet, a statement to security organizations in Nigeria saying that whether they like it or not, the lives that have been targeted, the blood that has been spilled during this protest, whether they agree to it or not, in time, when they leave office, they will face an answer to their crimes. It's a tweet that he put out. And of course, it's very interesting how the police has told us that nobody was shot. The police did not use any live ammunition. But then we've had videos from Premium Times, from AIT, from several other media channels showing that they were shooting. We saw live pellets, bullet casings. We saw it on Premium Times. And so now it's more of a post-truth era, one like the one we had in the US at the time of Trump, where it was a post-truth thing. It was like, oh no, that's not a fact. That's not a real truth. Everything is a lie, so you don't even know what to believe. But we're seeing these things, and we don't know what to believe. Well, thank God that Bennett was on live television. Probably that could have also been a hoax. I'm thinking. Well, back to the phone lines. If you're on Skype, you can join the conversation. We're Nigeria Info FM. We can take your calls now. Hello.
Hello, Maryann. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Ndume calling from Ijaniki area.
Go ahead.
Maryann, I'm just 44 years now. Maryann, we don't have a country. If people are still believing that we have a country...
We do have a country. We do have...
Maryann, you know what is happening, eh?
We have a country. It's called Nigeria.
Okay, fine. I agree. Maryann, last week in Joy Shoes, when Dangote was facing his own challenges, and the one that accord that everybody will collect in this country, all of us will not agree on in one accord. So if you believe what we are saying, sometimes when we say something, you say, are you there? How do you have the facts? Are you sure? It's good that it's happening to you people too, journalists, so that we see that.
Well, again, I'm sure that when you were listening or watching Bernard, there were facts to prove that this is what happened. He didn't say, I heard.
Maryann,
they said.
Maryann, please. Many things have happened in this country. 2023 election, I can never forget that day. When they were beating us, flogging us with cane, with cutlass, telling us to go back. Police is there standing and looking. My brother, my sister, no, you people are sitting in one place. So you need to come out so that what we are passing through in this country, in the heart of this town to them. Abu have taken over Nigeria. Abu is the one ruling Nigeria. They are the one that have power. They have money.
Okay.
They have everything.
All right.
They have gun. They have cutlass. They can kill and go free.
Thank you very much for calling.
Thank you, Maryann.
Thank you very much for calling. Hello, welcome to Hard Facts. Turn off your radio, please.
Hello, good afternoon, Pino.
Good afternoon, Metro Man. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, Maryann, in those days, make I see like Ziggy. When I used to watch Idi Amin of Uganda with human rights abuses, I used to think it was issue of the Medieval time and the Dark Age era. I never knew in this our age, journalists will be brutalized, armless protesters will be killed, and government will lie. I don't know if, just like NWC said, I don't know if we still have a country. Then on Ali Ndume, they say, when you eat, you don't talk. He realized that he talked while he was eating, so he had to replace his words in order to continue to eat. That is a career politician for you in Nigeria. Thank you, my sister.
Thank you, Merchant Man, for calling. Hello, welcome to Hard Facts.
Hello, good afternoon, Maryann.
Good afternoon.
Yes, how is it going in my sister?
Well, it's going.
Make we talk. Now, today we talk about this country. But you know what is telling me, Maryann? How long will we stand and look and see how our Nigerians are being treated like slaves? The one that pay me most is journalists. It's a profession. Policemen are profession. They're all professionals. How are you going to be treating your co-professional like this? And they purposely send this journalist, to that place that their boys are. But thank God that God shielded him. They didn't do him any harm. I just thank God for that. And secondly, I don't do their own case. He's calling it family, this affair. It's a family affair. But Maryann, my sister, how can you be arresting those who plan for this protest? Did they just stand up and plan for this protest? People are dying of hunger. There is no food. Look at fuel now, Mary and my sister. There is no light. As I'm talking here now, there is no light. Highest they will give you light is 1 hour or 1.5 hours. That is it for the whole day. And we will keep quiet and be watching this going on. Since APC take over this country, they have turned this country upside down. We don't even know what is happening again. Only in the hand of God.
Thank you for calling. Thank you for calling. I do appreciate it. All right, Uzoma, thank you very much for calling. I need to go on Facebook again quickly to read some of the messages. John Tanko here says, Maryann, you're too much. Keep it up. Thank you, John. Maxwell Ozola here says, Maryann, I'm a first-hand reporter at the protests grounds and in Ojota. I live very close to the bus stop, so I partake from day one. And part of the organizers of the protest, we had to battle the thugs from day one. We were able to manage them, but on Monday, as soon as we finished, we had left the thugs. As soon as we finished and had left, the thugs came out with cutlasses, sticks, and guns to attack us. Some of us who were part of the organizers were giving out food when they were trying to. I'm sure you mean when they were trying to attack. We had to run away with a popular content creator and hide beside the army who parked opposite on the opposite side of the road. I was interviewed by your sister station on the first day of the protest. The APC government is evil and full of intimidation and threat. Dyer here says, I want to ask, are we in a democracy or an autocracy or feudalism or imperialism where people can't protest? Again, they send a counter protest using Agberos, police, to intimidate. Now, journalists are now being attacked and intimidated by Agberos, and police look the other way in Ojota. Imagine a 7-year-old girl protesting in Abuja that her parents couldn't pay her fees because your president increased school fees and has also created obnoxious policies that has turned the people to beggars and almajiri in the midst of plenty. They belefu while you are hungry. They laugh at your poverty. Also, they turned a secure country to a gangster paradise. The question is, what is the government afraid of? The evil of this government lives with them. It's a shame. The worst of us are ruling the best of us. Well, Senator Akpabio did say that we can just keep protesting. They will keep eating. I wonder what the senator meant. And I really hope I could have Senator Akpabio on the show one day to help us understand some of the statements that he's been making since he got to office. I think that maybe one day we'll talk about Senator Akpabio and bring him on the show. Let him tell us exactly how the Senate is representing the people, especially him, and the policies they're making, how it's going to help the average Nigerian. I'd love to have Senator Akpabio, so if you know him, you know his handlers, get him. Back to the phone lines. Apologies, do call me back. Hello, welcome to Hard Facts. I'm so sorry. Hello, welcome to Hard Facts.
Hello, Maryann.
Good afternoon. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Madam Lucky calling from Bejuleki.
Hi, Madam Lucky. Go ahead. You have 60 seconds.
Yes, my thought is about the Ali Ndume. I know Nigerians will also come from there. You see, under Obasanjo, there was a poll on a television station then that were asking people that does Nigeria worth dying for? Majority said no. Sorry for that language. You see, Ali Ndume did what even the king and traditional rulers and the major pastor, Bishop Khan, could not do. But on that day, when after Ali Ndume challenged the APC to tell them that Nigerians are hungry and electricity tariff is too high, what do we do at the end of the day? When the people went to the street, Nigerians said they are not hungry. Even those that I bought baby food for in my own community here, that a child was crying for 3 days because no baby food. That woman told me that Awusa and Peter will be with Igbo people. They want to remove her brother from office. And that day I was so disappointed. So nobody should blame Ali Ndume. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for calling. Thank you for sticking to 60 seconds. Hello, welcome to Hard Facts.
Hi, Maryann.
Hi, good afternoon. Hi, Chinenwa.
Maryann, please. Yeah, when I hear that these people are coming for the journalists, it pains me a lot. Honestly, it pains me. People that are supposed to speak for us, show the world what is going on. Okay, when they close their eyes, close their mouths, that means that we are no longer existing now. They have taken everything away from us. Even before this process started, I know how they make it impossible for you to hold. They try everything. They want to use tribal sentiment to make it not to hold. Even using the traditional rulers. Picking Oro. They say that with Oro. Another one, and protesters insisted that they protest. The next one is here that they use their thoughts. The next one is using the Russian flag. You understand? All sort of one manner of things to make sure that this protest is illegal. Now they want to arrest people in diaspora, saying that they're sponsoring a peaceful protest. Thank God that they put it well. They say peaceful protest.
Okay.
Yes, that's how they put it.
Okay.
Have you heard where such a thing happened? A peaceful protest. The sponsors. People that are sponsoring Boko Haram, they have not arrested them.
All right, Janae, thank you very much for calling. I've got about 2 minutes on the clock. On our YouTube live, Tolulokwe Akindro Oguntuashe here says, shame on the APC government. This is so distasteful, he says. And if you're watching us live, please post your comment on our live stream. I would love to read from you. Let me go to X now. Esther Oboli says, Ndume has joined the long list of politicians who have valued stomach infrastructure than their integrity intact. Anything for these politicians to remain in power is what they'll choose above the masses' welfare. This has also lent credence to the fact that our president is a dictator. No more, no less. This one says, Harry says, I guess you're new to this. This happens almost in every location in Lagos. They're familiar for me. The is Ikorodu Road, Fadei, Maryland, being the worst of its so-called Owo Omotaku. It's just ridiculous to see it happen, he says. Joy Forever says, so sorry about the ordeal of Bernard. It shows how compromised our policing system is. Just like touts, they have become tools in the hands of politicians. Police can find real sponsors, but not criminals. Ndume loves his position more than Nigeria. Bet I do. Is said to still be working. Well, yes, but then, of course, we're hearing that there's a lot of unbundling that's going on in that ministry. And they're being broken down into departments. And the president made some interesting appointments yesterday, still into that ministry. So let's keep our fingers crossed and see what happens. Maxwell Ozola, I think I've already read your message, so I'm going to move to someone else. Someone here says, End hunger protest sponsors on watch list, but no terrorist sponsors has ever been on watch list since 2015. Are you still smelling the rat? Roy Ewelike from Ijegu. Achogba Solomon here says, as for police shooting protesters and watching thugs harass both protesters, citizens and journalists, and their normal brutality, and also the soldier that killed the 16-year-old in Zaria, that's why when Boko Haram and other elements killed them, no, sir, I'm not going to read this message again. Just leave it at that. Paul Idemudia from Surulere says, according to the police, no one was killed. Same way they said no one died during NSAS. At least the military is honest enough now to admit that one person died. The APC have deployed their propaganda machinery to effectively distract the people from the main issue of hunger and bad governance, which is the fulcrum of the protest, to focus on security and imaginary enemies trying to take over government. On the 4 o'clock hour, Professor Richard Aduche Wokocha joins me. He's a professor of law. Let's talk about these Russian flags and the illegality of it. Let's see what the Constitution says about what the service chief called, what's that word again? Treason. Yes, I did give you a dictionary meaning, but we're going to talk about it. Stay with us. Yvonne Haifo is here with the news at the top of the hour.
I'm making so much money. All the money Buhari borrowed to fight insurgency are in people's pockets.
This nonsense we are doing in this country must stop.
With all that happens,
we keep up with all events.
I hardly hear female lawyers handling high-profile cases.
Another season where Manchester City dominates from maybe start to finish this time around.
It's 99.3 Nigeria Info.
99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.